Hi guys, it's Karen from Good Dog Concentrating. I'm here with Sasha, and we are here to be doing presence doesn't mean access to. I wanted to give you a little bit more about what you can do with presence doesn't mean access with your dog. So we're going to start with the concepts first. There are three major concepts that we're going to talk about. The first one is the event. The event equals arousal to your dog. So there is an event. Let me try this again. There is an event, and that equals an increase in arousal. So what that means is your dog, someone comes, knocks on the door, they come in the door. That means I get up, I get excited, I run around, I jump, and I go crazy. Again, somebody comes to the door, event, arousal up, event, arousal up, event, arousal up. Number one, first challenge. The second challenge that we have is number two, one of my favorites, disengagement. Right? Dogs are not born to disengage. Dogs are born to engage. In fact, they're experts at engaging. So what that happens is that means that we have a dog that values people. It values being around you. It doesn't see the value of being away from you. It only sees the value of being near you. So alone time has no value in that. And we like to teach him that disengaging from everything is exciting and be just as much as a reward. The third one is the dimmer switch. Dimmer switch. What is a dimmer switch? Well, it's really no different than the dimmer switch in your house, right? So if you think about a dimmer switch in your house, you have a light switch, the good old-fashioned light switches I grew up with. What did? They went on, off, on, off. So that is your dog. Your dog is calm to high arousal. Calm, high arousal. It's going from 0 to 100 and nothing in between. That is where we push in the dimmer switch. So I'll put the dimmer switch here, just like a dimmer switch at your house. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can get that light to go on and off and be at different brightness. It's the same thing with your dog. We want to get your dog to be able to work in here, in the 50 area, the 40, 60 area. And we want to train your dog to be able to learn how to go up in arousal but come back down. Even better, maybe they don't come up to this. They only go to that 80% mark, and then they learn to calm themselves down. So that's like your 5-cent tour about the dimmer switch. We want the dog to be able to go between 0 and 100 and work in that, like I call it, the 40 to 60 area. So don't think this is like a label on your dog. You know, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's all these things. It's not. These are nothing more than symptoms, all right? And we are going to teach him with these 3 symptoms and these challenges, these concepts, and we're going to give them skills. Because when you get down to it, all you really have is a dog that is not skilled in the requirements that are needed for when a person comes to your house or to be alone. They're just lacking skills and education. Just like you and I have the skills and the education, and you want to learn it from me. It's the same way. We are going to match the skills to the requirements that aren't needed. So if I sat and thought about it for a second, let's do some quick games that you might have heard me say before. Event, DMT, right? Your distract, mark, and treat is a great game for this. Let me see if I have another pen right here. We've got DMT. Another great one for this is one of my absolute phrases is crazy lady. I actually have a Crazy Lady YouTube video, so get out there and watch it, like it, and subscribe. Crazy Lady's great. We're going to be talking about that today. Our disengagement games. You might have done Plant Pot Prison. You might have seen me mouse food during training. And the other one that you all know is boundary games. Right? So we have boundary games. It's probably our number one. We're going to be working with that again today. And then we have the dimmer switch, which is playing with your game Okay, with your game, playing with your dog, bringing them up in arousal, and then dropping them back. Maybe you take the dog off the boundary, you tug a toy, play a little thunder, you bring them back down, you put them on the boundary, or maybe you scatter feed. If your particular dog finds scatter feeding calm, that would be our dimmer switch. Okay, so while we're doing all this and you're like, oh my God, this is my dog, I can't believe it. This is my dog too. This is what got me into dog training. So don't worry about it. I know how you feel. Most people feel this way. There is a whole plethora of people in the dog training world who are working with these types of dogs. We're gonna help you. That's what I'm here for today. And we're gonna play games. All right. So how can I prepare my dog for visitors and for presence doesn't mean access? Presence doesn't mean access. What we're going to do is, you heard me say that we're going to pop the dog into a gated community by himself. It's at your kitchen, on a boundary, in his crate. Maybe he's in the bathroom. Maybe he's in your bedroom with the door closed. But we're going to give him something to do. We're not going to leave him alone. We're going to employ the dog. We've got long-lasting chews. We've got snuffle mats. We've got cardboard chaos. You've got a snuffle. Did I say snuffle mats? Snuffle mats again. What you're going to be looking for to give your dog some type of employment when you are not in the room. All right? Because otherwise, if we don't give him something to do, he's going to want to be around us all the time and regularly. And all we're doing is, again, increasing the value in us. And he doesn't see value in being alone. Number one. Number two, okay, on lead in the house. So you're going to go get your dog and you're going to put him on lead and you're going to be walking around the house, all over the house. Just let him feel the lead on the house. If you haven't done that, you may find that he's like, what are we doing? Why are we in the lead on the house? It's a good thing to do. Again, that's like a little side thing you could do, a little ditch to the routine. We want to be on the lead in the house. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take him on the lead in the house and we're going to play the parking game. So we're going to come in, we're going to take him from one room of the house where he was into another room in the house, and we're going to park him next to us. You can be in a chair, you can be on the couch, whatever. The dog is going to be sitting next to you. I want you to take your foot and step on the lead. He's now parked, and he is going to learn that nothing happens when I'm here on the lead and I'm parked. This is a boring area. And you are going to try to ninja feed him. Do not engage. We're going to ninja feed the dog. We're going to take a piece of food and you're going to be like a stealthy ninja. Very boringly, and you're going to put that food on the floor. You're not going to toss it, throw it. This is all low arousal. Just pop it on the floor. You're not engaging with him. Don't look at him. Don't talk to him. Good boy, good boy. Pop it on the floor. All right, that's all you're going to do. So you've got presence doesn't mean access, in-house on lead, and parking. Number three, boundary games. So how we're going to play boundary games for this particular presence doesn't mean access is we're going to feed the boundary. Then we're going to take a piece of food and we're going to fake to put a piece of food on the floor right here around the boundary. Drop a piece of food like, oh, you're just putting a piece of food down. But you're not. Release the dog off. The dog comes off. He sniffers around. There's no food. He goes back onto the boundary. So we're suctioning the dog back onto the boundary. Feed. Jummy up. Dog comes off, looks around. Jumps back on the boundary. Feed. All right? So we are getting that dog to want to suction onto that boundary. So what have we done here? We have combined all these games. You started in a room on a chew, a long-lasting chew, or a snuffle mat, or a Kong. Then you went to a dog on lead. You collected him and you brought him outside into a new room. Then we did the parking. And you're doing a cup of tea, you're doing a craft, you're doing something, you're not employed with your dog. You're doing your thing, your dog is doing his thing, and he's getting ninja feeded, and you're stepping onto the lead, and he understands, I'm parked, and this is what my job is. Then we put him on a boundary. The value's for on the boundary, not off the boundary. So we have just built this whole picture. And now we've got various skills happening here that your dog is learning, and he's learning all these different concepts. Okay? Now, we have the visitors coming. So, over here, your visitor's here. Okay, that's the visitor. Where is your dog? Your dog is in. Presence doesn't mean access. Visitor comes in, your dog's got a long-lasting chew, and he's got a job to do, he's employed, and you are going to do something that you do with your dog, with your visitor. You're going to put your visitor on a boundary, more or less. He's going to be seated. So now we have the dog employed and we have the visitor employed. I know, it sounds crazy. You're out there, you're talking, everything's going okay. Then you bring the dog out on lead. You bring him out, let him sniff, sniff, sniff. It's a minute or two. If he's doing okay, he gets to go to the stage 2. If he's struggling, he goes back into presence doesn't mean access, and he gets employed. If he's 30 minutes, he's not barking, jumping, or going crazy, he's doing good, then we can put him in the parking position. You can sit there, your foot on the lead, and you can ninja feed your dog. If he's done all these and he's doing super well, then we can step him up and he can go onto the boundary. Why we are feed, why the visitor is here. All this is taking place in like minutes. I'm talking the first time it'd probably be 2 or 3 minutes at the most. All right? That is where we are. Take your time. Because what's going to happen is as you build this picture, it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger together, and you're going to build this pathway. All right? Now, the other important thing that we have is your so-called new visitor. We do this a lot, and it's going to take a fair bit of time. Otherwise, your dog is going to rehearse what we don't want. So we need to continue to build this, and that this becomes the default of what happens when people come to your house. We don't want to train in the situation. We want to train for the situation. So your dog's got to have the skills to meet the requirements before we even start this. So let's remember that before we always want to go so fast, okay? Here's another thing that I want you to do. You're going to be telling your client what you need them to do. Just like you're telling your dog
Hey guys,
what he needs to do.
I actually mean
the same thing with the client.
visitor,
You got the
not client.
came in, didn't get to greet the dog, then we've sat them down, they're employed, they're doing whatever we need. Then we're going to bring the dog out, and we're going to tell the client, please, I'm training my dog. I'm going to need you to ignore the dog. I'm going to bring the dog out and lead. I'm going to pop him next to me. I'm going to step on the lead. I'm going to be feeding him. And you and I are going to continue to have this conversation. If we tell the visitor what to do instead of leaving them to their own devices, we get them engaged into working with us. And that helps us out, and it helps the dog. And all this is minutes, guys. It may be they come out for 30 seconds, sniff the dog, they get on a quick parking, you give them a little chew, and you can see them starting to get crazy. And guess where they go? They go back to presence doesn't mean access. So you have to look at your dog, why you're building this huge foundation for them to go on. All right? And the last thing I want to tell you to do is play that crazy lady game. It is such a cool game, and it's great value. I have that on YouTube, like I just said. You want to take your dog out from the beginning. Your dog is in the presence doesn't mean access. Oh, there's a knock at the door. Let me go to the door. Physically, I want you to go to the door. I want you to open the door. Hey, Sue, how are you doing? I'm so glad that you're here today. Shut the door. I want you to go into the living room and start talking to Sue. Sue, so what are we doing today? We're going to be talking about baking stars for decorating my Christmas tree. Great. What are we going to need? We're going to be doing all of that. Then your dog stays calm, and you're like, I've been doing this crazy lady, and the dog's getting better. Then you're going to do it on lead, walk around the house. Maybe you can get somebody to sit down there for you, a family member, or even a friend. But you've got to be faking it, and you've got to be doing it, and so the dog gets that pathway and understands it. I hope this little video, Presence Doesn't Mean Access Visitors, is helping you. There's a lot of games. Some of them I do have on YouTube, so make sure to go check out my YouTube. Subscribe for any new videos that I put out there, and make sure to like us on Instagram. Also, that's it, guys. Presence doesn't mean access, and I hope this gives you 3 games that will help you get going to have visitors. Have a great day. This is Karen and Sasha from Good Dog Concept Training.